So now let us talk about the second function, that is read n function. What is the meaning of here n? This function is used to read n characters, that means bytes at a time. Here n means number of characters that you want to read. Number of characters, number of bytes. Basically, each character occupies 1 byte in memory. Each character occupies 1 byte in memory. So this function is used to read n number of characters, that is bytes, n number of characters. Let me write here n number of characters, that is bytes at a time. Now, syntax of this, it's already written. Read in the bracket n. It returns the string value. You know that it returns the text. Read n, and syntax of calling. This is also syntax of calling. That is on file object. You will be calling this on file object dot read, and then you will be specifying how many characters you want to read. How many characters you want to read. Fine. So let us start this. Let me write one question. Write a program. But there is one problem, that if you will specify, suppose there are only 5 characters in a file and you are specifying 10 characters to be read, then what will happen? We have to understand this thing also. We can read one by one character at a time also. We can read one character at a time. What is the problem of read function? Suppose that if file is consisting of huge data, then if you are doing it by using read function, then entire data will be fetched from the hard disk. That will be stored in RAM. It will consume more space. So benefit is that instead of reading whole data, you can read character by character. So let me just do that question. Write a program to read the data from a file character by character, that is one character at a time. Instead of all characters, and print it. Of course, here we will be using read n function. Here we will use not n read 1, because one character at a time. We want to read one character at a time. That is the meaning of n. Read 1. 1 means, here 1 means one character at a time. Fine. Now let me show you one thing. Suppose that if this file is consisting of, let me create one file for you. Suppose that this is one notepad which I've shared with you. It is consisting of alphabet. Let me say I'm just writing alphabet here. A, B, C, all are correct. Okay. So these are the characters which are stored in this file. These are the characters which are stored in this particular file. Now do remember one thing. These are the characters which are stored in this particular file. Let me say this file is, let me save it. I'm just storing in the same folder. Let me say alphabets dot text file. Always remember, let me just copy this in just a minute. Suppose this is a file. In this file we are having 26 characters. As I said earlier, that in file also there is an indexing for every character, whether it is a space, spatial symbol, anything. There is indexing in file also. All the characters, all the data that is stored in the file will have the indexing. Let me just take the screenshot of this. Fine. Just a minute. Okay. So that we can understand this, what exactly is the meaning. Okay, fine. Now I'll be opening the whiteboard. Okay, So here we go. This is the content of file. This is the content of file. So do remember, there will be indexing. Indexing will be there. Always there will be indexing. And what is that? It will be index number 0. Always remember. I'm just writing indexing. What is that? Indexing in file. We have understood this thing already in case of sequence indexing in file. So this is 0 index. Now, of course, the next character will be at 1 index. This character will be at 2 index. In that manner, of course, the Z will be at 25th. Characters are 26 because indexing is starting with 0. So 25 index, 0, 1, 2, 3. At last, do remember, you are not seeing anything here. This is at the end of every file. At the end of every file, one special symbol will be stored, which is called EOF. EOF. Special symbol. What is that? Let me write it. Just a minute. Let me just decrease it. Okay. So EOF, what is the meaning of this EOF? EOF means end of file. EOF means end of file. It is stored automatically in every file. Always remember, in every file by operating system. Operating system कौन है? ये Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. EOF means end of file. It is stored automatically in every file by operating system. And where it is stored? Wherever the last character that you have typed, just after the last character, it will be stored just after the last entered data. Always remember, it will be stored just after last entered data. So when that means once you will be reading that, you know that we can read maximum 26 characters from this file. We can read maximum 26 character from this file. And what will happen? Suppose you are reading 1. What is the meaning of this read 1? Let me write it here. Always remember this file object. Suppose this is the file object which is connected with the file. This is the file that we are having. This is file. This is our file. So what exactly happens? Do remember, file object maintains a special pointer. Initially, when you are just opening the file, when you have just opened the file, it will store the index 0 initially. Do remember, initially it stores the index 0 when you have just opened the file, and it will be automatically incremented. Let me write few things for this also. Just a minute. Let me just decrease it. Okay. So let me just increase it. EOF. What is this file object? Initially, file object will point to first byte, which is at index 0, and it will increase its value after reading the specified text. Now, what is the meaning of this? it will read initially file object will point to first byte which is at index 0, fine, and it will increase its value after reading. It will increase its value after reading the specified text. Now what is the meaning of this? Let me write it. Suppose that you are writing read 1. You are writing read 1. That means suppose f1 dot read 1. Now what is the meaning of this? Wherever f1 is pointing, wherever right now f1 is pointing, from that index please read one character. From that index please read one character. So right now it is pointing at 0, so it will read one character from 0. That means this character will be read, this character, this one, and after reading one character it will point to the next character. It will point to the next character automatically. It will point to the next character. That means it will become 1 after reading it. Fine. If you are writing again, if you are writing f1 dot read 2, suppose let me say 2, that means you are saying from the current position of file pointer, wherever the file pointer is, read 2 characters, read 2 characters, and then it will move to the 2 characters forward. The index will be moved. That means from one index it will read B and C, these two, by using this, and then 1 will be incremented by 2 because you have read 2 character. 1 will be incremented by 2 because you have read 2 character. Fine. Now suppose if you are writing f1 dot read and let me say 5, let me say 5. What is the meaning of this? That from the current position of file object it will read the 5 characters. That means from third index to suppose 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 h, and now it will move to the 3 plus 5 which is index number 8, which is index number 8. Fine. So we have discussed this, that meaning of this f1 dot read 5, 2 and 1, it will be increased by that many number of bytes. Okay. So let me just take this file as it is. Fine. Right now there are only 26 character in this file. Let us just close it. Let me close it also. Okay. So let's do this question now. Web to read the data from a file character by character, one character at a time, and print it. Even whatever I'm saying that it is moving to the 8 number index, moving to the second number index, third index, how can we check it? I will let you know. How can we print that currently it is pointing at which position? Currently it is pointing at which position? Okay. So let me open the Python idle for you. So let me copy the question as a comment. So yes, there we go. We character by character. Let me just break it to the next line. This is the question. It's a very, very simple question. We have to open our file in read mode. We have to open our file in read mode. First of all, F1 equals to open. Same file we will be opening. Remember, this file handling is totally practical concept. Totally practical concept. There is nothing like theory in this. There is nothing like theory. Alphabets.txt, that is in read mode. Fine. Now, after this, we have to run a loop. First of all, let's see what exactly ch. Let me take one variable ch equals to f1 dot read and 1. f1 dot read 1. What it prints? Of course, if the file is consisting of alphabets, it will be character A only. It will be character A only, and then we will do it by using loop. Then we will do it by using loop because we have to print entire content. Let me just store it. Okay, read underscore n, save. Let me just run it. Yes, we have got the first character. That means it is correct. Whatever we were discussing, that read one means one character. Now after this, suppose that if I write it again, ch equals to f1 dot read 1, and if I print it again, then of course the next one will be going to print b, next one will be printing b. Yes, again we are correct that one character at a time it is going to print the one character. Now let me write here 2 and here also 2. So first it will extract two characters AB and it will extract next two characters, that is CD. Yes, this is also fine. A, B, C and D. Okay. Now let us try to extract, since we know there are only 26 characters, let us just experiment it. Let me write f1 dot read 26. Yes, all 26 characters. Now let's write 27 and let's see how many characters it can read. How many characters it can read. Now can you see after 26 character it is giving one line break? Yes. Let me write 28. Let me write 28. Now 2 times line break. 2 times it is giving line break. Let me write 29. 3 times line break. That means it is not able to read after the last character, because at last it has gone in error state. It is not able to extract after the last character. It is not able to extract after the last character. You can see it is not able to extract after the last character. It is printing anything after it. Read 500. Let me write read 500. Again see, it is not able to print even backslash and again. So that means we have to stop. We have to stop once it reaches to the end of file. We have to stop once it reaches to the end of file character. How can we do this? How can we do this? Now, as you know, after last character, it will not be able to read anything from this file. After last character, it will not be able to read from this file. So we have to stop our loop once it reaches to end of file. Once it reaches to end of file. So how can we do? Let us just experiment little bit. Let us just experiment so that you will also understand. Okay, let me write it inside a loop. But now I don't know how many times loop will run. I even don't know how many times the loop will run, because if it is already specified that there are only 26 characters, then you can run the loop 26 times. So now there is one problem. That problem is that we don't know how many times the loop has to be run. So in that situation, there is a special kind of loop that will be dependent on, you can run infinite loop, or let me write one special thing for you. Suppose that I am just extracting one character initially, f1 dot read, initially one character. Initially I'm writing ch equals to f1 dot read first character, let me read it. Now I am just creating one while loop, while ch. I am just writing while ch. Let me just do it. While ch. Don't worry about it. What exactly is the meaning of this? While ch. I will let you know what is the actual meaning of this. Now, since you all know that empty string means false, that we have discussed earlier, empty string means always false condition, and filled string means always true condition. Filled string means always true condition, and empty string means always false condition. That is the main process that we are doing here. Print it ch, and after printing, read the character again. After printing, read the character again. That is one character. Let me just, and then let me print one thing. File reading done successfully. What it will do, what this program will do, let us just trace it. What this program will do, F5, file reading done successfully. Just a minute, let me write here and equals to, let me open that file once again. What is that file? That is our alphabets.txt. Alphabets.txt. This is also consisting of this. Let me just remove it. Now my cursor is not going afterwards. I'm just pressing the up down arrow key. It is not going after it. Fine. So do remember, if you leave the spaces, then the file will have space. Let me remove all the spaces from this file, and now I am not able to go after Z. Fine. Let me save it. Let me save this file, and now let's execute our program. Why I have changed this and equals to, I have put and equals to blank, because otherwise print will move to the next line, move the cursor to the next line. Let me run it now. Just a minute. File reading done successfully. Let me write here \n, because I want this to be printed in next line. See now, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J and W, X, Y, Z all printed, and then after it, file reading done successfully. File reading done successfully. It is printed. Now what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this loop? Let us understand what is the meaning of this loop. First of all, always remember there is one special thing that we have discussed earlier at the time of operator discussion. Special note. Always remember empty string means false condition and filled string means true conditions. Filled string means true condition. So what is the meaning of this particular statement here? First of all, I am reading one character. If this character will be read successfully, this one character will be read successfully, CH will have some character, of course. If it will read successfully, then one character will be stored. Fine, one character will be stored. And if one character will be stored, what it will, while ch means here, something will go in double quotes. Ch, since I have put ch here, now you know that if I put true here, this will become condition true. That means this is going to execute it. If I write false here, that means condition is false, it will not going to execute. But I have written ch here. And since I have written, always remember empty string means false condition and filled string means true condition. So instead of ch, if content is successfully written, suppose A. So we know that since it is filled string, that means automatically condition will be set to true. True means execute this. A will be printed. So first of all, initially ch will have A. Initially, fine. It is true and ch will be printed. Next time again, it will read the next character. Successfully. Then B will go. Inside the loop, it will give B. B means again filled string. Filled string means true condition. Again, it will be printing the next character. Then again, C. Inside the loop, it will give C. C means filled string. Again, it will print. At last, Z. Now, again, Z means filled string. Loop will be true. Z will be printed. At last, empty string. End of file. That means no more characters are left. So now it will become empty string, and empty string means false. Empty string means false. That means it will not be going to execute any number of line after it. And at last, it will print file reading done successfully. Why we have put \n here? Otherwise, this print line will be printed after the read character from the file. That is the importance of this. To remember, this is very, very important question. So I was writing here, that is ch. Read first character from it, and then inside the while loop you can have it, and then print one by one. And now you can experiment on this question, that how can we do without reading the first character before the loop. That is your assignment. You have to do that. How can we do this without using this first character to be read before the loop? Of course, we have to read one by one all the characters, but how can we do that without reading one character outside the loop? Okay, so this is one simple question of read n, that how can we read one character at a time, one by one character at a time, one by one character at a time. Fine. Okay, let's do one more question. Now we will copy one by one. We will copy one by one. Write a program to read the data from a file character by character and copy it. This is also simple. Copy it into a file called alpha.doc. Alpha.doc. Again, here we will use read one. It's so simple. You have to create two files. One you will be opening in read mode, another you will be opening in write mode. Read the character from the first file and copy the character into second file. Copy the character into second file. Very simple. Let me do it for you. I'm telling you, these questions you have to do practically. Each and everything is practical now. The remaining portion is totally practical. That means you cannot cram up now. You have to practice every day for these questions, character by character, and copy it into alpha.doc file. Simple. First thing will remain same. Let us open one more file. F2 equals to open, that is alpha.doc, comma write mode. Okay, now this is same. Instead of printing, simply copy. Instead of printing, simply copy it. Just do the copy. And what is that? F2.write. Very simple. F2.write. And what you will write? ch. The character which you have read from the first file will be copied into second file, and second file is pointed by the F2 object and first file is pointed by the F1 object. That's it. It is going to read one character, and here you can write one message: file copying done successfully, and F2.close. F2.close. Very simple. F2.close. Let me save it. Copy_n. Copy_n. Fine. Let us just run it. It will only print file copying done successfully, because other thing we have not printed. Fine. Let us see now what is stored in that. Let's see first alphabets. It is containing 26 alphabets. Let's see alpha.doc. This is document word file. You can see that the content is copied into this particular file, that is document file. Okay. Now if the same question says you have to copy and print, you have to copy as well as print, and what you can do, simply print the ch. Just print the ch also. If you want to do copy and print, then you can print the ch as well as copy it. So now you will see the content. This is the content of file, and file copying done successfully. So it's up to the question what the question is asking: reading, printing followed by copy, or only copying. Okay. Now let's come to the next function. This is all about read n function. This is very easy. One character at a time. Next is read line function. Next one is our read line function. Okay. Now let's do this read line function. As the name says, what is the meaning of read line? Read a line at a time. Read one line at a time. It is used whichever number of characters are there in one line. That means before first backslash n. Before first backslash n, it is going to read all the number of characters from that line. It is used to read a line, read one line from a file and returns the text written in that line. How many number of characters that you cannot know, and for that you have to open the file. So it is used to read one line from a file and returns the text written in that line. Any number of characters can be there in that line. Any number of characters can be there in that line. Very simple syntax. That means now line by line reading. We have done character by character reading. Now we are doing line by line reading. Line by line reading. So syntax is very simple. Read line. And read lines is a plural. Read lines means all the lines, line by line. Read lines means all the lines, read line. And syntax of calling. Syntax of calling. Same file object dot read line. That's it. Let's do one question. So this is used for reading line by line. This is used for reading line by line. Write a program. Print the content of a file line by line by using read line function. And same thing, as we know, once you will reach to end of file, it will return blank, that is empty. If you are reaching to end of line, it will return empty. Once you are reaching to end of file, it will return empty and loop will be false. Loop will be false at that point of time. Fine. So now let us create one file first. Let me just, or what you can do, let us print a program. Let us print a program by using this function. Let us print a program which is already created. Let me say, suppose this is one of the program which we have created, read one. Sorry, let me open it. Let's read program also. As I said, you can read any kind of file which can be opened by Notepad. Now see, this is one of the program. I want to print the content of this program. The name of program is read one. Let's do it. Very interesting question. So here, let's take a new file. Let me write a program to, let me copy it from there. Very simple question. Read line function. We will print the content of program by this. You can do this. Very easy. There is no problem in that. As I said, you can read anything by using this concept to print the content of a program, of a Python program, line by line by using read line function. That's it. And that program is read1.py. Simple thing. Let's open that file. F1 equals to open. Now read1.py, because we are storing the program in same folder, so there is no need of specifying the location and path, comma R. That's it. We have opened it. Now same thing we will do as we have done in read n. Read one, here we will not mention how many lines because it does not accept any argument. So what I will do here, line equals to f1 dot read line. It will read first line. Why it will read first line? As you all know, when you have just opened the file for reading, initially it will point to the 0 number of index. That means at first character it is pointing. So from there it will read the first line. And line means it will be having lots of backslash and enter keys there. Read first line. Now same thing, while let me just write one print function here, printing the content of Content of read1.py program starts now. Let me put 2 backslash n. While, again same line, just write while line, because we know that if it is successfully read, it will be a filled string, otherwise it will be empty string. Print it. This is amazing thing that we are learning today. And again, line equals to f1 dot read line. Line equals to f1 dot read line. Fine. At the end, just print one message. Program is printed successfully. And then close it, f1 dot close. Let's run it. Here, read line. Name of program is read line. Okay. Let's run it. You will see the amazingness. Yes, let's see the magic. But one thing is happening here. You can see what exactly is happening in this program. Just see. Printing the contents of read1.py program starts now. That's okay. That you have given 2 backslash n. You have given 2 backslash n. That is not a problem. Print line. Line equals to f1 dot read line. What it is doing? First of all, it has printed the comment. It has printed the comment. Okay. And then this print function is giving one extra line break. Let me just remove it, and equals to, because of course it will give a line break, this print function. Let us just print it again. See now. Amazing thing you have seen. First output. Now after this was the content of the file, the comment read1.py. Then the empty line is there. After that, first line, second line, third line, fourth line, and at last there was some comment in that file, and then program is printed successfully. So this is the amazingness of read line function, that you can read line by line. You can read line by line. You can read line by line, all the lines of a program, line by line. Fine. Now suppose if someone is asking you, can you count how many lines are there? Can you count how many lines are there? Very easy. We can count. We can count how many lines are there. Simply take one variable and increase that variable one by one. Increase that variable one by one in the loop. Increase the variable one by one in the loop only. That's it. We will do this question also. This is the easy question, that line by line reading the program. Line by line reading the program. Or let's say, let me open one different file. Let me say this is ABC. Suppose there are, let us say how many lines are there. There are 4 lines in this file. Let's read this program, abc.text. Instead of this, let me write abc.text. You can read anything by your program. Fine. Here I am giving backslash n again. Let's print it out. See. Printing the content. Here 2 backslash n we have already given in print function. You can see in the print function, printing the content, and then hello, this is my file. My name is Amit. My name is Ram, Sham, and at last program is printed successfully. At last program is printed successfully. So here there are 4 lines in this program, 4 lines in this file. So we have to count how many lines are there. How many lines are there in this particular program? How can we do this? Let me say, how can we do this? Let's take one variable count equals to 1. Why I am taking count equals to 1? Why I am taking count equals to 1? Because first time you are reading that line. First time you are reading that line. But now you will see one problem. Now you will see one problem. Or let me take count equal to 0. No issues. Let me take count equal to 0. And here count plus plus. Count equal to count plus 1. Count equals to count plus 1. Fine. Let's print the value of count. Let's see which behavior you will see now. You will see one strange thing. Total lines are, comma, count. Let's see what it prints. Total lines are 4. Total lines are 4. 4 lines are there in this particular program. 4 lines are there in this particular program. Fine, because first time loop is true, count plus plus. Second time loop is true, again count plus plus. Third time loop is true, again count plus plus. Fourth time loop is true, again count plus plus. Fifth time loop is false. Fifth time, because there is no more line left, so it will be false. This is the program. Let me write this program instruction. That what exactly is the meaning of this. Okay. So next question is write a program to count number of lines. And you will do one question, write a program to count number of characters. By that only, read one function. In that you can increase a variable one by one. Content of, instead of printing, write a program to count number of lines in a text file and print the total. Fine, very easy. Line by line we will read. We will read line by line. Of course, in this question you will use, these are the questions that you will see in examination. Use read line function and take one variable for counting and increase it inside the loop. This we know, inside the loop. For any question, increase it inside the loop. That's it. We have done this. Write a program to count total lines. To count total lines in a, and do remember, it will not be mentioned that read line function name will be written there. No, they will not mention the name of function. Simple thing. This is the question. Total lines are, instead of this print, now there is no need of printing that line contents. Same thing will be there. Now if they will specify the name of file, then write the name of file here. Otherwise you can take any name. You can take any name for this particular question. Total lines are count. See now. 4 lines. Let me remove the content of that file and then let's see. Let me remove all the lines from this file. Let's save it. abc.txt. We have saved it. Now let's run our program. It should give 0 lines. Total lines are 0 in your. Fine. This is all about read line function. And last but not the least, read line functions is also very easy. Read line functions, read lines means all the lines. You should try that read lines functions. Try by using read lines functions from your end, and then we will continue our this topic.